Have you ever found yourself in a situation so unexpected, so charged with tension, that it left you questioning everything you thought you knew about boundaries and desires? This is a story about one of those moments of family outing that took a turn I never could have anticipated. It's about curiosity, temptation, and the thin line between innocence and something far more complicated. So, let me take you back to that sunny Saturday, a day that started with laughter and ended with a secret I've carried ever since. It was a beautiful, sunny Saturday, the kind of day that feels perfect from start to finish. We spent it at the beach, enjoying the sun, the snacks, and the coconut water. It was a family outing, a chance for everyone to relax and bond. There was me, my husband, his son from a previous relationship, my daughter from my first marriage, and my childhood friend. After a wonderful day, we started packing up to head home. On the way to the beach, my daughter had sat on my lap in the car. She preferred it to being squished in the middle seat, especially with the trunk full of beach gear. But on the way back, she complained about how uncomfortable it was to sit on someone's lap, how sticky and sweaty it got. So, she decided to take the front seat instead. My friend stayed on the right side, just like before, and that left me to sit on someone's lap for the ride home. The chosen one? My stepson. I sometimes called him my son. Our relationship had been close for 7 years, and it felt natural. He was wearing simple swimwear, dried off well with a towel, which we placed under us to keep the car seat from getting wet. The first 5 minutes of the drive were normal. Everyone was chatting, the radio was on, and there was no awkward silence. But then, after a few speed bumps and potholes, I felt something shift beneath me. I didn't need to look to know what was happening. My worst fear, or maybe my secret curiosity, was coming true. I tried to stay calm, not wanting to embarrass anyone, especially him. He acted like nothing was happening, but I could feel it, a growing pressure, insistent and impossible to ignore. After a couple of minutes, I relaxed a bit, letting my body settle more comfortably against his. It was as if we were silently acknowledging something unspoken between us. The others in the car didn't seem to notice anything unusual. We all kept looking out the windows, avoiding eye contact, pretending everything was normal. But for me, it was anything but. The pressure between us became more intimate, more pronounced. It felt like a mountain, separated only by the thin fabric of his swimwear. If it had been up to my modest bikini, there would have been no barrier at all. Halfway through the drive, I tried to subtly adjust myself, using a bag to cover what was happening. I pretended to shift in my seat, lifting myself slightly to reduce the friction, but every time I moved, it only seemed to make things worse. At one point, he shifted too, and suddenly, there was no fabric between us, just skin against skin. I held on to the car door's handle, trying to steady myself, but the sensation was overwhelming. Every curve the car took brought us closer, the tension building with each movement. I could feel him, hard and insistent, pressing against me. It was dangerous, thrilling, and completely unexpected. I tried to distract myself, focusing on the music or the scenery, but my body was betraying me. I was caught between wanting to pull away and wanting to lean into the sensation. At one point, he adjusted himself, his hand brushing against me as he tried to hide what was happening. I could feel his breath quicken, his body tense. The car hit another bump, and I couldn't help but press against him, the friction sending a jolt through me. I bit my lip to keep from making a sound, grateful for the noise of the road and the conversations around to stop. By the time we were nearing home, I was a mess. My body was on fire, every movement sending waves of pleasure through me. I could feel him too, his breathing ragged, his body trembling beneath me. When we finally pulled into the garage, I quickly adjusted myself, trying to act normal. As everyone got out of the car, I waited for him to compose himself, giving him time to hide the evidence of what had just happened. We didn't talk about it, not then, not ever. But that car ride changed something between us. It was a secret we both carried, a moment of forbidden tension that neither of us could forget. Even now, years later, I still catch myself thinking about it, wondering what it meant and what might have happened if we'd been alone. Has anyone else experienced something like this? A moment that blurred the lines between innocence and desire, leaving you with more questions than answers? I'd love to hear your stories. Sometimes, it's comforting to know you're not the only one carrying a secret like this.